I was 18 years old, and it was the eagle. And I figured I would get a very non-offensive tattoo. That way, Grandma and Mom wouldn't freak out, which they did anyway. So after that, it was a free-for-all.
I walked into Electric Ink and I showed the owner the design I wanted, and he handed it to Scott and said, "Can you do it? Because I wanted it really small." And Scott said, "Yeah."
I hadn't really anticipated getting one until we got there, and then I got one.
First tattoo was not done by Scott, and that one's gone now. It's already covered up. But my first tattoo by Scott, if you can even see it, was this piece right here, which to me represents a Celtic god, Cernunnos.
First tattoo I got in Florida. I must have been 35 years old. And I remember the guy. His name was Sailor Bill. And he had an old bloodhound or whatever dog hanging around the shop. And we went in, and I got a little rose on my shoulder. And of course, everybody when I came home thought it was terrible for me to do that. My mother-in-law kept telling me, "Shame on you, shame on you." But that was the first one.
My very first client was my very first ex-husband. Oh, talk about trust. Now that was trust, because after we had split up, he had agreed to buy me my first set of equipment and be my first guinea pig, so I'm forever grateful to the gentleman.
I didn't really get another tattoo for probably, I'd say, 10 years. And then it was a really tiny heart, that little heart right there.
About 19 years until I was 19 to get my first tattoo. We had met Scott, and I came and talked to him because I was real nervous about, getting the needle and all that stuff. And I said, how does it feel? And he was like, well, he said, take a blowtorch. He said, heat a razor up and shave with it and tell me how it feels. He said, it's probably about how it's going to feel. It's going to hurt.
I was 26 when I had my first tattoo done. I had a little Pegasus with wings, scared to death. And it was quite a few more years after that before I'd have another one.
Let me get radical and let me go get a tattoo. Donald had one, and we almost got a divorce over it because he kept telling me he was going, and I told him, no, you better not. And then here I am going ahead and getting one. So
my first tattoo was done at a place in Deep River, Connecticut, which almost caused me to get divorced. And it was a tiger on my right arm, which has been covered up since. And it was sort of a bad experience because I had to rush there from third shift at work, and then when I got home, my wife was very upset with me, so she left. So needless to say, it wasn't the best experience.
I think when I chose the rose, it was just something that it seemed like everybody back then had. Of course, now things have changed so much that most people, years ago used to just get a little tiny rose and not a big deal, just for the fun of having one. And but over the years, it's become more than just that. There's meaning behind a lot of the tattoos that I have.
I'd say maybe a year later, I got the Wizard.
Pinhead from Hellraiser. Because I always liked the movies, and I thought he looked cool and stuff like that. So Scott decided to, where we're going to put it and stuff like that. So I wanted it on my leg, and we got it all set up. And he started to torture me in the chair. He'd pick up his gun, and he'd start, it starts making that noise when it starts up. And he'd set it down, and he'd start doing something else for a minute. He'd come back, and he's like, "You ready?" I said, "Yeah," holding on to the chair, and okay, hold on one second. He'd go do something else, and so he started up, and as soon as he started going, it really starts hurting the first couple of minutes.
I think they all just thought it was, as an 18-year-old getting a tattoo, and that I wouldn't get any more, and it was just a little one that I could cover up, and I'd end up regretting it. That didn't happen.
I always wanted one. My father and my grandfather and my uncles had, you know, the Navy anchors on their arm, and basically that's, you know, I wanted to have one also.
And after that experience, though, and after I seen it finished and seen, you know, how awesome it was, I had to go back and get more.
Started to realize that it's more of an addiction than anything else, and I just continued on, meeting different people, going to different shops.
You know, they're like Lay's potato chips. I say, I'm done. No more. I said it was Scott when he did my first fairy. I'm done. And we started talking about my next fairy. And then we talked about the next one. Then we talked about adding Boone to my leg. And I had Scott's memorial done on my leg. And I said, I'm done. That's it, you know. And I have an appointment next Saturday to go have a back piece done with Dave. So it's, I don't know, maybe when I'm 70. It depends.
I do get some flack from some customers, you know. I'm still a taxi driver, but you know, you get the people that, you know, what'd you go and do that for? You know, and my usual response is, I don't know. I got drunk one night and I woke up and I was like this.